Now that you mentioned the French the French market, and Amazon and what happened with the French league, what's your view or your vision of everything what's happening?
I think it's a blessing with guys.
Yeah, because we can say that French league has been the first big league, major league, in really collapsing from a media
Collapsing is the right term.
yeah, from a real standpoint. And from that collapse, now they have to build everything from scratch, but with the pain of collapsing without being ready to collapse.
Correct. And that's the reality of every league. But just to take a step back on the French situation, it's one where, as an agency, we genuinely believe in people working together now. Your club in the same league is not really your competitor from a business standpoint. From a sports performance, yes, but from a business standpoint, it's not. And so what Ligue 1 didn't do well is, like, Canal Plus was an incredible partner. And at one point, different players were coming in. They changed. They broke that relationship with the historical right holder that, the Premier League hasn't done, Bundesliga hasn't done, nobody else has done. So that's where they keep getting the same amount of local revenue on it, because there's still that element of fear. But when Canal Plus realized that they could replace Ligue 1, that's when Ligue 1 started being in trouble, right? So now they move from different, right holders to different right holders, all not working well, to the point where they have to go D2C. I think that at the point where they went to DAZN, I think that that's where the opportunity was for them to say, hey, okay, DAZN is coming in, but let us anticipate the development of the platform. So they kind of did it, but they didn't do it in a way where it was like, we're going to listen to the market, but if it's more rational to go D2C, we're going to go D2C. So they kind of had to develop the platform in an urgent manner. Kudos to them, hasn't failed. Honestly, like, that's one thing that the team has done very well internally, because we know OTT is hard. It didn't break. We've been seeing the content, so kudos to them on that. And so now they're seeing that because of the different strategies that they put in place, they have a certain number of subscribers that is very decent, right? And now it's how you get to the next level and what you do on top of your platform. So become a media company, except they have a clean turf, right? They don't have the historical legacy of very expensive hardware, et cetera. So they can think about it the right way. And there are plenty of ways in which a league can be reinvented. Now, the reality is that I think they communicated around 1.2 million subscribers. Let's say the average subscription is at around 17 euros, right? They're under 200 million, whereas they were making 400 million of the previous cycle with DAZN. But I think that the story is not there. Can they actually move to making 350 million of revenue through the D2C platform? But afterwards, can they capitalize on the data that they're getting and all those news and knowledge? And this is where they are the first one. So LFP moved from being that company that was like at the bottom of the top 5 in European organizations to like everybody wanting to talk to them. Like, how is it working? How are you working from the inside? What's the information? So they're capturing a ton of information right now about how to go about that market. The only thing I would say to those leagues is like anticipate it. We work with the Austrian league, for example, in terms of like they were supposed to go D2C. Having 1 year before going to market was a luxury that the LFP didn't have. But I think that every league right now should anticipate that in a better way, to know their business model, to start acquiring user knowledge, and to start shifting from that pure league selling rights to that tech kind of organization that understands tech well enough to know what they can and cannot do if they have to go.
I think La Liga, for example, in Spain is doing a very good job on that. You can agree the strategy works, doesn't work, but at least they have their own OTT. They're putting non-football content.
Yeah.
I think the focus is now, the people argue sometimes, but they don't have subscribers. But the focus is now about growing the subscribers or they paying rights. That doesn't make sense. But I think that it's an experiment. Like, in case tomorrow the world ends and the media companies decide not to pay us, we at least have some experience in-house. And that's something LFP didn't have. And as you said, it was I think a very challenging situation.
Yeah.
And just the fact that the product is arriving to the user is a huge success.
And you know what? Like, genuinely, there's less money in French football right now. And so there's private investor owning different clubs. But the reality is that in European clubs, our results haven't been as good in a few years. Ever since like we started paying people less. And there's obviously PSG, that's one, but then you have Marseille, Monaco, you have different Lyon. The fact that the revenues are lower hasn't had a massive impact on the quality of the league, if not the other way around, because the reality is, like, as you said, all the money that was getting from the media rights just allowed for clubs to not look at how much they were spending for their second left back in their club. right? And so they were overpaying him by $100K a year. Now they can't do that anymore. Does it impact the sports performance? No, just makes them a more rational business.